Good morning. So this morning we're going to be doing our cup sleeve tutorial. I wanted to do it last night, but we had a random windy storm, thunder, lightning, rain beyond belief. So that was not in the forecast. So I didn't want to risk losing power. Our electricity was going in and out. So I didn't want to run my machine and then that break from power loss, like what happened to our TV. So the first cup sleeve that I attempted to make, I no longer have. I cannot find it anywhere. So I think I did just throw it away. I seam ripped it about 3 or 4 times and it just was not, it was not doing it. I followed this like sewing app, this like free sewing app. No, 10 do not recommend. So this was the second one that I made. This is a hand towel. It's a Pioneer Woman hand towel. I did not use batting because I figured, oh, you know, it's a hand towel. It doesn't need batting. It's not bad for my second one. It is reversible. I mean, the same thing on the inside as there is on the outside. I don't know what that is. But yeah, and I can show it on a cup here. So it's very like, you know, I didn't like that. So my third attempt, so stinking cute. This one's a little better. Still has like a very curvy top, but this came off of the first dish towel that I tried to make the sleeve out of, which was this pattern, which is also Pioneer Woman. So I just took that off of there. This is reversible, so like if you buy this for yourself and your son's like, oh mama, I want some bugs around my cup, and you don't want the frilly foo-foo on the outside, just flip it over or flip it back. So that's the second one, or the third one. My fourth one is this guy. This one is smaller because even though I felt like this was comparable to the towel fabric and thickness, it's not. So between this and the batting, it kind of shrunk a little bit because the material was so thick. But this is, I mean, reversible too. It's all reversible. But I did do this little zigzag stitch all along the top and the bottom. So it's not that much smaller, but it's a little bit tighter fit on your cups. So now the one that we're gonna be making, this. Isn't that so stinking cute? I went to Dollar Tree with my mom, and usually they have fabric. I bought a bunch of fabric there to like practice with when I got back into sewing. They had absolutely none. How I found this, I have no idea. I was checking out and these two were just randomly in the checkout line in the candy spot. So I don't think this goes well with this. I mean, there's a lot of red in here, but this is gonna be another reversible cup sleeve. So I have these out. I've got this. This batting is not ideal. It's very stretchy. So I realized as I was sewing with it, it stretches. So ideally this should be a little bit smaller, like width-wise. It should be probably 2 to 3/8 of an inch shorter. But I just don't sew this in with my edging when I'm doing it, because then I can cut the excess off. So I've had my machine for 17 years now, and I just started getting back into sewing a couple months ago. I have not touched this machine since my oldest was itty bitty. I got this machine when I was 15 or 16, so I think we made a star pillow with my granny for her, and then for another family member, I did this pillow and it had a pocket in it so she could stick her book in there whenever she read it. But yeah, so let's get started. In sewing, if you know what you're doing, yada yada, just fast forward through all of this. But for those of you who don't know much about sewing, you're newbie, you have a right side and you have a wrong side. Your pretty side, 9 times out of 10, is always going to face each other, always, because you're always flipping it inside out. So in that case, we will get started. Now, because this is going on the inside, we're placing it, I don't know if I can, there we go. So we're placing this on the ugly side. There's just the red and everything all over the place. Okay, and you can see how I have some extra here, because what I'm gonna do is when I sew this together, I'm putting right side together. Excuse me. I'm only sewing, like, you can just forget that. I'm only sewing one side of this batting. Now, if you had appropriate batting that doesn't stretch so much, it's like a thicker cotton, you wouldn't have to do this. You could size it the appropriate way, but I've come to realize with this, what I have on hand, I do need to make it smaller. So now what I'm gonna do is I have my wrong side out, I have my batting on the wrong side, I have my right sides facing each other, and I'm just going to stitch right along the top. So here we go. No. Okay. All right, here we go. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay, and now it's sewn, and then you just cut off your little tail tags. Probably cut that off of it. See what I mean? It's stretched when I sewed it, so yeah. Now we're gonna set this piece aside. We're gonna do the same with this one. So again, there's a right side and there's a wrong side. We're gonna put the right side together. You always want to pre-wash your fabric, and you always want to, brain fart, iron your fabric. I didn't, because I don't care. Now, if I was posting this for, you know, with my business, well, yes, I would make sure everything was washed and pressed, but I just was so excited to do this. Excitement stops me from doing a lot of things you should do, like washing and ironing your fabric before you post a tutorial on the internet. Okay, so again, when we go through, we're always going to backstitch. What backstitching does is it locks in that thread to where it doesn't undo. If you forget to do it, it's okay. You can always go back over that stitch and just forward back, 1 2 1 2, and it'll lock over that. So let's go. See, it does. Hold on a second. Okay, so now we have our second. Again, cut those little flyaways off. I'm gonna cut that piece off. All right, so now we have our two pieces. Okay, sorry about that. So now, remember how right side goes together. I'm gonna fold this right side out. And why we're gonna do that is because we're going to open this up. How I stitch it is a little bit different than the tutorials that I've seen. I do it the scrunchie technique, and if you've made a scrunchie, a lot of people recommend like starting with a scrunchie tutorial, which when I did that, I was kind of like, this is supposed to be, I mean, I guess it was easy. You'll see, you'll see. So you are going to match your seams up. Make sure they're up at top and bottom, because then they can get twisted. Okay. And then just make sure all of your fabric is aligned. And then what you're gonna do, now I probably should have done this backwards, but that's okay. So you're gonna top seam or top stitch this whole entire thing. So this is all of the top, and you'll see once we get to the end, I might have to cut a little bit of this off, or it might be perfect. So I've got my seams lined up. I'm gonna top stitch a couple stitches, a couple back stitches, and then just keep going around like that. So let's get started. Excuse me. Let me see if I can try to show y'all over here what I'm doing. Give me scooting over, letting y'all scooch in over here. All right, so some people do clip, like do their pins and do their clipping and stuff. I saw a tutorial that this woman was doing. What was she doing? She was doing something. And she's like, yeah, you can sit here and clip and pin, but you're just wasting time. And I'm like, huh. She's like, the fabric sticks to itself. And I'm like, huh. So I took her advice and I stopped pinning and clipping. Now, you can still do that. Like, not all material will stick to itself. But as long as you're going slow, you're paying attention to what you're doing, and you just keep everything in line, you should be fine. So yeah, let's see. Can you see? Okay, so everything is lined up. Kind of bunching there. I'm just gonna try to hold it the best I can. Okay, and I'm going and as you go, you just make sure that everything is lined up. I can see over here, it's not that. It's really hard to do this and hold the phone. Oh, I did need, I don't know why that came out so wonky like that. I think because I wasn't able to hold and pull as I was sewing, but now we're just gonna cut off our little stragglers here. Okay, here's the scrunchy part. You are gonna have to kind of finagle. We're gonna open this up because now we have right sides in the middle, right? We have our seams. They kind of did move. I swear I can't talk when I'm filming. So yeah, they are just a little off center here. I don't know how that happened, but it's okay. We're doing this together. So the scrunchie technique, you have to, I'm gonna try to explain this and show you the best way. Let me get this going down a little bit. You have wrong sides out, you have your tube, right? You're going to take your tops, fold, just push your tops in. Push them in, make like a tube here, like that, okay? So you could see the inside, you can see the inside. Now, you are making this inside touch, so you're having the two right sides touch, because then you're going to be sewing this over here, and as you sew, you're pulling out. You're going to leave about that much opening so that you can flip this over, pull it through, and then hem it. Now, to do that, I like to line my now unmatched seams together. So here, let me show y'all one more time. All this extra thread. So when we top stitched it, it was like this, right? Now I'm gonna open this up. So now here is the reversible inside part, right? Now I am bringing this together. Bingo. Okay, so I brought this together, right? I have my right side, my inside, right side, inside. This inside, I'm gonna hold this part here, is gonna touch this inside. And now we're grabbing and we're sewing this, okay? So I do like to match my seams up. And I want to start this way. So now I'm pulling the inside out because it's a tube. You're doing a tube. And you want to make sure that you're not sewing any of what's in here. So now I have my seams aligning. Match these bad boys up. Now I do want to show y'all all of my seams, like on this one, match. So like, it's not that I'm not pinning, because I haven't pinned those. This seam, it all matches. And this seam, well, oh, maybe that one's a little bit crooked too. I don't know, can you see that? That was a little bit crooked. So now you want to make sure, the spotlight, no. You want to make sure, no, I can't see, that these guys are touching, and you're just gonna sew this bad boy on down. So when you have it in the machine, I have my needle in the fabric. I have both of my rights facing each other, and then I'm just gonna sew. I'm gonna backstitch and then sew along. As I sew, I'm gonna pull the inside. Once I get to where I'm pulling the inside, I'll show y'all. You always want to make sure that your needle is in your fabric when you move or alter your fabric so that you don't lose the spot where like that last thread went through. So my needle is in. I need to pull this out so that I can continue to sew. So basically what it's doing is it's taking from the back, twisting it through, and you're pulling it out here, and you're just sewing the edge as you go. So it's a tube. And because I don't have a ton of cameras that I can do different views, I can't really hold the camera and show y'all because I have to grab this with both hands. And you always want to be cautious that you're not sewing what you're protecting in the tube. It seems hard. It's really not. It's actually really easy. And I like doing it this way better than trying to hem the bottom. Once you start doing it, and if I was able to show y'all better, I think y'all would understand and you'd get it. So here's your tube. Here is my gap, okay? So we are just trying to fold this bad boy inside out. So I'm gonna grab what's inside and we're gonna pull it through this gap. Yes. Okay. Now our end product. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just pulling like the seams up. Okay, there she is. We've got our fox, our little porcupine, mushrooms, our squirrel, and then if you flip her over, your plaid, right? Now, excuse me. Here is the tiny little section where you want to fold it in on itself. This is so hard to show. I give props to other folks out there who do video this stuff because it ain't easy. Especially when you're working on your cell phone and not like another camera. Okay, so I'm going to sew that. Now, the reason why, this is the exact reason why I do it the scrunchy way. Because the tutorials I saw, they do this the whole way around. I'm not doing that. There ain't no way. So, I'm gonna do it my way. And then what you can do, I don't know if I really like doing the top stitch because I like on the outside, and see that's wonky right there. Why is that wonky right there? That one kind of has that little divot in it. Because I feel like if I go back over this and I do that right there, it just makes it want to curve out. So I feel like if I were to go over this, it would do that, but, oh, and there's the finished purse right there. But I think I've got plenty of thread. I could sew this, I could iron this down. I just don't like why it did that right there. Maybe whenever I do my stitch, I'll just fix that part. Anyways, I think I'll go ahead and do a top stitch all the way around here. See how it does. And then go from there. So, should I iron it? See, that's gonna be a problem because that is super thick. Well, let me see. Well, let me see what it looks like. I reckon it ain't bad. I just don't want to ever offer a product to y'all that I don't like, and I have seen some products being sold that were handmade, and I don't feel like attention to detail was there at all. This is a problem to me. I don't like the dip here, and that's like a big gap. So to me, selling this to y'all with those minor details or those minor flaws, I don't like that. And I don't like how my seams don't match up. Oh wait, yeah, they don't really match up. There. So to me, this would be like a defect item, and I would not advertise this full price, because to me that's showing that I don't pay attention to detail. I just don't like that. So I'm gonna finish the bottom, and then yeah. Okay, there we are. Oh. There she is. Where did my cup go? Oh, right here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, I will be sending out a time for the live for the flannel, for the campfire tea. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.